right, everyone. We're here for another damn conversation. I'm Inwood Lane and I'm speaking. I I'm going to apologize in advance that I've been having some issues with this.
I don't think we can.
Okay, can't. Am I in?
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
disregard my private chat.
yeah, no problem. Remember I mentioned about okay,
Yeah.
y'all. You're getting in on the little conversation that Steve and I had beforehand, and I apologize in advance about the my audio or just the transmission right now. Bubba Sue, hey, Traveler, hey, thanks for joining the conversation. Well, Steve, I got to tell everybody again about this. I had asked him over the weekend, or text messaged him over the weekend, asked him, "Hey, can you funk around for about an hour?"
Which is my favorite text to get from him. So,
And I always know that's him because it's got to include the word funk in there. It's kind of like Batman with everything being bat, and all.
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people I know don't get it, but the more I do it, I feel like they get it, which is cool. It's cool to make sure that it continues because it fucking damn well should, you know.
And actually before we came on, about 45 seconds, well, actually a couple minutes before we came on, I was playing some George Clinton and the P Funk, and the song was "Make My Song" the P Funk. So yeah, we were
Yeah, I
already
was
in a
cool just
funk.
sitting backstage, and then he like went dark. I'm like, oh, we're going live. I forgot.
Yeah, so yeah, we are already in a funk mood tonight. So unlet Canadian Expediter here. Got my MC because thank you, man. Thank you, Canadian Expediter there, unleaded 93. So that means you do the premium stuff. Okay. Gotcha, man. Was there any
Your mic dropped. Well, dead air is not good air, so I'll keep it going until he gets it
okay,
back.
am I doing okay. Alrighty. Like I said, it's like I'm gonna be having to click on, click off, click on, click off, and at least throughout this there. All right, so we're gonna get into the conversation. I told Steve that we were gonna talk about some things. We usually kind of go over a couple of talk chat items here, and so first of all, 3 years as a host of a live stream, and you had your round table last
Actually 5.
5. Okay.
Well, here's why. 8 years running uberlyftdrivers.com website as of like a week ago. Every single day there's been news posted on that website that all of you guys should be checking out. 5 years in May, because it was the first week of it was a month into the pandemic, into the stay-at-home orders, was when I started the audio podcast. Brought it over to YouTube about a year later, and then started kind of forming some other things. So 5 years come May, 3 years of the round table, just the round table thing we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the 3-year anniversary was for. Which I mean, to me, that's huge to get a group of people together every week.
Yeah, man. I
And
mean,
for 3
yeah,
years. And I mean, we didn't miss any. If I wasn't there for whatever reason, Kim was there and Hannibal was there. We had it covered all the time.
yeah. That's an accomplishment in itself. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you didn't have the continuity of people, the fact that you're still doing it, there's that. Of course, there's that dedication element and all, but that's
Mike did. So that's cool. Canadian Expediter, you got your MC because of this channel. That's awesome, dude. Hopefully, I don't know what's going on with Geezer's mic, by the way, because he has a good setup, you guys.
Okay, there we go again. All right.
See, there he is. But he's got. I was just saying, like he's got a nice mic. Something's wrong in the interface.
It's not even. It could be. I have. I've every week is like I'm having some issue with something. It'd be the audio or the visual and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna just tough it out though.
Mm-hmm.
Now I noticed that you had a couple of live streams recently,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing.
So unleaded, the videos that helped sum it up. Yeah, 2 days now, growing my business one day at a time. It's the only way you can do it if you're your own boss. Just waiting for Geezer to come back here.
All right, am I coming?
There you go.
All right,
something's. I feel like it's almost just even like a wire or something in your cable.
Okay, how about that?
If it stays, that might have fixed it, because when you bumped something before you unplugged it, it made a little like that noise that I would want to hear as a sound engineer, and I made that, and then you pulled it and put it back in. So if it's a better connection, let's see, it might just be fixed.
Okay, so what are some of the changes you've seen with at least on your time active on those two apps, Delivered and Curry?
Delivered and Curry only.
Yeah, well, we're going to start with those two. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Delivered, I'll be honest, I've seen from Delivered what I would expect to see from Delivered, because after the New Year and stuff, Delivered, I mean, I've had them on the podcast enough. I've spoken with them enough times. I was a beta tester for them, so I'm familiar. And this is not. It's not their fault either. It's this right now is when it starts to maybe pop back a little bit. Now I can't guarantee that or whatnot, but January, February, forget all the other apps. I'm not talking about seasonal stuff, but Delivered is very slow in January and February. Even the company says so. I mean, they're aware, because all the parties have been exhausted and people are trying to get their budgets down. And so, I mean, Delivered, it's been slow. I've passed on a lot of offers. There's been a lot of $20 offers all in. I don't even look if it's tip or what's coming from what, because it's usually a guaranteed 10 from Delivered, hoping it goes over. But I just pass on all that until I've just kind of got a standard of, I'm looking for $35 plus, and I'll do the work. Curry was fired in January. I couldn't believe it. Best January I've had with Curry. And then February was a little bit slower, but it's just starting to come back around. But this is usually a very slow time for Curry. So I would say that, I'm doing better on both, I guess, because there will be occasional ones that I grab on Delivered. I'm doing better on both than I would this time of year normally, but I'm not doing search and rescue this year with my son starting college. So I'm out for the year, and then I'm back next year. Normally, I would be doing search and rescue this time of year, and I would love the fact that I'm barely working the gig economy. So I don't mind these slow months. Right now, I've been here doing it, and it has not been fun.
Okay. Well, now search and rescue is your thing, so I'm surprised that you're not doing it. I mean, it's
only because my son is starting school. We got to move out of this house. There's a whole vortex of things coming at once for me.
And by the way, his name is Max, and this is his first year out of high school. So it's a big transition.
This has been a gap here, but now he's been accepted to Fort Collins, to Colorado State University. So in August he starts. He's 18 now. He'll be 19 when he starts. So Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. I can't be more stoked. So, but anyway, it has taken me away from search and rescue a bit because, in fact, completely this year because it requires a lot to do search and rescue too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Unleaded. Appreciate that.
Okay, let's see. Am I
You're
good
back.
again?
You're back.
Okay. Nola Grind. Hey there, man. What's going on? He had a conversation with me a couple of weeks ago. I guess what is it? Mardi Gras, is that over now?
I think that Ash Wednesday's today, which
Okay.
would have made Fat Tuesday yesterday. So we'd be right in the
Yeah.
heart of Mardi Gras.
Oh, okay. I get it wrong still. I get it
But I
wrong.
don't. But
But
I don't know if Nola lives in. I don't know if he lives down in the
he
effect.
lives in New
My
Orleans.
guess is he stays away from it.
Yeah. He tries to stay. That's what he meant. He tried to stay away from all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. He has what Max is majoring.
So he's well. I mean, we'll see what changes, but he's looking at like sports therapy in a couple different realms. And Colorado State University in Fort Collins is a little bit better for that niche specifically than CSU. But nonetheless, I think it's gonna be great for him. He's been working at the rec centers. He's been really like lifting weights, getting in shape. He has his own like he eats good. He's been working in therapy pools at rec centers with elderly and people who need that kind of assistance. So he's had like a year. He's had a year since high school, but he did it for 3 years in high school too. He's been
Oh,
doing this
okay.
for 4 years now as a
So he's
lifeguard.
so he's got himself already now. He's going in running. He's not.
Yeah, I feel like he's better than I was going in, kind of thing. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying? Like I feel like he
yeah.
actually has a focus, man. Like a very
Mhm.
specific focus.
Yeah, and you know what? When it's like that, it's a very good chance that nothing will get him off track. He's going to go there and get it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple different ways he might want to go, but he's all about it. He's all about in fact specifically working with like concussions and people that like have like brain injuries and stuff like that. Like I don't know why he does a lot of sports and stuff. So did I growing up, but I mean, like he also works at the rec center and does some coaching, but he's very much into like what's going on with people's heads and I don't know. So your mic is dead.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, I mean this is going to be embarrassing, man. But I'm going to work on that this week. I'm going to work on it. Maybe I need to find another mic cord, since I got the prongs, and hopefully that will establish a good connection. Can't do it this way.
Sometimes I just take my cord too if it's getting older, and I unplug it and I just twist it once or twice, and then
Right.
plug it back in, just so it's got like a little tweak in the thing, and maybe it reconnects.
Okay. Well, I got it kind of. I got the cord up on something right now, so
Yeah.
hopefully that will keep it in place.
Cool.
Now I wanted to ask you about Curry because I actually checked out another content creator's uh, uh actually it was a live stream, and he mentioned how Curry, in terms of some of the
Oh, we lost him. Uh, oh, we could both go mic-less. I can unplug my mic. He can unplug his.
okay
We could both
there
go mic-less. We could both just use the mics on our computers.
yeah, but it doesn't sound right. So anyway, the he was saying he made the observation that the offers are not what they used to be. There's a mic and a headphone. There's a backup. No, I don't have that. It doesn't work. I got 2-year-old equipment here, and maybe that's the problem. I got 2-year-old equipment. I bought a brand new microphone, but it doesn't somehow it doesn't. It's not recognized by my.
There, it went out again. I'm telling you, to me, that's not a microphone. That's a cord issue. I'm just saying, it's something connecting something isn't connecting right.
It's giving me the message of a connection.
There you go.
That's the
Now
problem.
it's connected.
Okay. There we Anyway,
No. Yeah.
so have you noticed the offers changing in terms of the dollar values? Have they gone down?
Well, I mean, what do we always say? You always say thirsty. People
Yeah.
are so thirsty. Right now, I'm seeing offers come out that
Hmm.
would be the normal number they'd come out at. However, in my market, Curry's been huge for a long time, so us veterans kind of own it. So they onboard a couple like fresh fish every once in a while, and I feel like that's kind of what's going on. Or it's just been so damn slow. But once the volume picks up a little, we know not to take what is being taken right now. Does that make sense? So the only thing I can relate it to is thirsty. Mike's out.
I'm hearing things, but maybe it will come out.
Did you go to your audio settings in the StreamYard?
No, I haven't touched them.
Oh, you should
I
check
touched.
them.
Let's see. Where would I? Let's see here. Leave studio. Oh, settings. Okay.
Yeah, and then go to audio.
No, there's nothing wrong with the
The mic and
audio.
the speaker are correct, and when you talk,
Yeah.
it's got the green dots and echo
Yeah.
cancellations on. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah. It's Yeah. So what I end up having to do is reset sometimes, or I just keep clicking until it gets back. So
Mhm.
it's making me asking these questions kind of disjointed. Um, I will agree with you that what I've noticed in my market.
Yeah, click it. I wonder if I. No. This is. How is it not? I don't understand. It's got to be a cable. Noah, you're in here. Do you agree with me? Do you agree it's cable? Because
Okay.
the mic
How about
sounds
that?
good when it's on.
All right. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
Anyway, when they brought on some newer drivers,
It's out. It's like it's shorting out every 3 seconds on a reset or something. Either that or some software interfering. Yeah, that's what it was. Mm-mm. There it is. You're back.
yeah, for about the next 3 seconds.
Is it something overheating? What do you? Yeah, I guess I'm just not 100% familiar with your setup, but
Yeah, you don't want to see it. It looks like Einstein's desk. So,
Frankenstein.
yeah.
um,
Kevin, how you doing, man? You're coming in as my microphone keeps cutting in and out. So it's been like that for the last 20 minutes. But we're good right now, right?
mhm.
Okay. So, again,
Did it again. What's up, Kevin Hawthorne? How you doing? How's Lakeland, Florida? What's the temperature? I'm gonna guess it's
70 degrees,
I was gonna say
75.
like 77. He's in
I
Lakeland.
lit. Okay, I live in Plantation on the other side of the state, and this time of the year, it's warm season, and the what you call them, the snow bunnies are starting to get ready to go back. Let's see here. They're saying you need a pension job for 2 million investors who are retired. Only 10% of the population is invested. You're scared? Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
but you know what? You're gonna have to make something work for you because like a pension job, good luck. I mean, like that's not gonna do it either. I'm sorry. It's just unless you're a brain surgeon or something like it. Pensions, all kinds of stocks, and I don't know. I think everything's on the table for everybody right now. Hey, when it goes out, do you hear it in your headphones when you talk? Like it's out right now. Are you hearing it? 63.
Okay, I can hear everybody, but I get a message that tells me that the connection is bad. Like it might be me. Sometimes I use another app like OBS behind this, but I'm not even using OBS behind this right now. So
See, I think
um,
you just identified maybe part of the problem though, because you like I hear myself in mine
mhm,
and you but
mhm,
I hear like if I come closer, I hear myself in my mic.
right.
So I'm thinking you should be hearing yourself. You must have it set to like one person or the other.
Mm, let's try this here. Let's try this.
I saw that Nola put that. I think another software is taking the mic away. It said like OBS or Discord or something like that. I mean, do you have your mic plugged into a mixer or right into the computer? I can't hear. No. Fighting to use the same mic. Yeah, like Nola, you're set up like when you're talking, like when you come up on the mic, you hear yourself closer, right? Like you hear them, you hear you. I mean, I'll be honest. I have a couple of different mics. This is a very cheap mic, but it's not. It's a sick mic for this because my headphones come out of the mic. So it's pretty dope. But this thing was like $59. It's a Audio Technica 1000 XR or something. Thanks, Nova. I've never grown one before. My boss at Laser has one, so I was like, I'll try. Yeah, we just need Marion. You just got to pray that his mic comes back on. Yeah, it's yeah, 70s, early 80s. Yeah, maybe 70s. Sure. You should see me when I shave. Like right now, it's just like I mean, it's just nothing. But like when I shave clean around it, my son hates it too. So of course I'm keeping it. Um, I don't know what the issue is because something sure fixes. I'm telling you, I think it's a cable. I think if you were to take a cable and twist it, like You guys aren't hearing him, right? Is anybody out there hearing him, or are you just hearing me? Now you can't hear me? Wait a minute. For real? Can't hear him. Him or me? Now I can hear you. You can hear me? Man, you know what? StreamYard's got some answering to do. Like, why is there not, I was like Nova, all you guys, I was telling Geezer before, I was saying that, maybe there's a patch out there because they also know he has a nice microphone and this microphone and whichever's, but there must be some patch out there for whatever he's trying to do, or else, like you said, something else is trying to grab control of it. Wait, my thoughts are louder than Geezer's mic at the moment. It's not working. Are you here? It's not like this, right? I'm like, Geezer's just happened. All I'm thinking about was that we were listening to some funk before we came up. Yeah, Nola's right. You could restart the PC. No, he did leave and come back, Marco. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't have it right here. I have the questions that he wanted to talk about. Here we go. See. I think you should listen to Nova or Nola about I would try to restart and not sign into any program but this one when he comes back on. Unless you have something in your startup that takes over. But last time we did this, it worked the whole time. Oh, Dark Road Run, Joe. Lake Fall Studios, where are you, buddy? This is what you do, man. I do lasers and lighting, but Joe's a sound and or hey, Tremaine, hey ho, where are you? Come over, help us out. I do know some sound, but I would need to see what he's trying to do over there. So I don't have his. I can't remember what the other things he wanted to ask me were. I'm trying to remember one while he's getting that going. I guess one thing for sure, while Geezer's going to see if he can restart or something, is like I've been saying it a lot. Maybe you guys have heard it. I don't know if you're really aware, but DoorDash now too, but Uber investors are really, really, really wanting more data, like a lot more data. And the reason being, if you're not familiar, I've been talking about this, but in 2018, 2020, then 2021, 22, 3, 4, those were all like going to be full 50 city autonomous launch with infrastructure and all this, that, and the other. And some of the earliest investors with Uber in the 2009 to 11 era really bought into that. Okay, no drivers by that date. And now the reality has been coming out. I've talked with people in the space on the podcast for years, but now the reality is coming out to the investor level too. And of course, they're all about the money. If there's a way to not pay drivers as much, cool. But when they find out that this big thing they've been riding is based on this autonomous program, and autonomous is 15 to 30 years away to be a level 4, maybe level 5 designated, and maybe 30-40% of the country. I mean, this is like best case scenario. When they hear that 30 years out, there's now a group of Uber investors who are forming to it's like over 7% now too of the investors are pushing to get as much data as they can on drivers. So when the quarterly report comes out, the earnings report, it has like, this is what drivers were paid. This is blah, blah, blah. They got all their breakdowns. And I'm sure there's a little more,
All right,
but they
here we
want
go.
to get it all. They want
How
to
about
see
that, guys?
make a living wage.
How about that? Am I coming in?
Yep. Yep.
Dwayne Mannery? Okay. Okay.
Wait, did you
Louder.
rooms too?
Let's see here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just that I lost my background in the process. Okay. Let's go ahead on.
I told the story about Uber investors wanting more data since they have found out that autonomous is nowhere in the crosshairs.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting up to speed again. So
yeah.
I have the best guest tonight with you being on, Steve, because somebody else would have panicked. I swear they would have panicked.
No, we got good people in here that I know, and of course not. I'll hang tight with you, man. I ain't gonna fucking let you go down like that.
Okay, well, that's cool that you did. Actually, if you see right here in the background, you see that red bag right there. That is that's my Grubhub bag, and there's one of my weightlifting bars there. But usually I got this blurred out, or I got another background, but I can't get that background in right now, so that's why I'm just going head on. Anyway,
my Grubhub bag is orange.
Oh, that must be a newer one because they were all red with GH on there. Let's see, what was he said that leave and come back in? That's what I did, man. That's usually, and that's
what he did,
and that did the trick there. What was the suggestion? I would try that and not sign into any other programs with this one. No, can't do that. You got to have something to pull up the video. Nova and his jokes. No, he wasn't joking. He was really telling what needed to be done there. Yeah.
No, I know. Everybody was pitching it.
Yeah.
No, Marion maybe was just thinking he was joking, but no, he
was offering factual information there. Now it seems like everything's consistent, but I was hoping that I would not have to restart the computer when I lost the audio, the visual when Mike Drop Barbecue was on. That's what I had to do. I realized that's what I had to do after the fact. I needed to have reset the computer. So somehow or another, that's the issue. It just gets bogged down and then needs to reset, and then everything's fine again for the time being. Okay. I think I've talked my way back up to speed.
So we talked about Curry and delivered.
Curry delivered. Okay. Now here's the thing that I noticed with delivered. I noticed that the earnings on delivered has gone down. Any of y'all out there, y'all notice the earnings have kind of gone down on delivered? And the reason why I say that is because after I first noticed the change with Deliver That when they changed their pay structure. In fact, I learned about the new pay structure when Nola Grind talked about it. And basically, it's $100 guaranteed tip for once the orders reach $1,000, $200 guaranteed when it's $2,000, $300 when it's $3,000. I've had a couple orders that have paid a couple $100, but by and large, the payouts have been lower.
First of all, let's get the elephant out of the room here real quick. All you Emerald people, you top 10%ers on that platform. Okay, I have talked to death with those guys over at Delivered and told them they need to make that a system where we can get, because listen, it's a math equation. You can go to the Delivered website, delivered.io, and you can go to and you can see it, but it's a real math equation. And it basically comes down to this. If you are Emerald, And as long as you keep doing delivered, you will stay Emerald, allowing nobody else to ever become Emerald. And so that makes a big difference, because like I was in a testing group with delivered, and there were 10 people. I was the only one who wasn't in the Emerald. And I couldn't believe it, because these other 9 people are like sitting in there, hey Craig, sitting in there, thinking like, oh yeah, no, I love it. And we were testing this banking thing out, and it sucked. And I'm saying it sucks because I'm like, well, I'm one of you guys. I'm getting just the normal offers, and the other 9 people in this test group were all Emerald. And I'm like, man, you guys see $800-900 orders. We're not on the same page. I mean, like, and I guess that's my point. The top 10%, that is what they see. They might be taking like $4,000 for like $700.
No, you ain't gonna get that. I can say that now.
I'm telling you, I know Emerald drivers who do it. However, I'm not Emerald, and that's the thing. If you go look at how to become Emerald, there's no way. Go look at how you become Emerald, and you'll see that there's no way you'll ever do it. But I do know something. Somebody was in a live stream of mine today. Cody C.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was deactivated from delivered for not taking a delivered for 30 days.
Yeah. That's been the word out there. CJ Cargo Van had that same issue where he got that type of a notice.
Yeah. Which I think is really weird this time of year, because I would think that with the lower volume of orders, a lot of people didn't see any. It wasn't even that they were choosing no or whatever. They just didn't see any. I mean, literally almost half of the drivers could have been deactivated.
Right. Well, I answered this one. Dwayne Mannery said he bought 2 used Transit 150s. Where did I get my first delivery jobs? Well, I'm going to tell you this, that my very first official delivery opportunities were catering orders. We just happened to be talking about that. I had 2 catering orders set up in Charlotte. Those are on December 17th, which is a Saturday, 2022. So what I did, Dwayne, was I was still working primarily gig food delivery apps. And so I was making a transition from that to then the last mile delivery apps, which is what Steve mostly had talked about for the first 30 minutes or so, since my goddamn computer needed to been reset. So that didn't occur for a few months. And a part of the reason for that, Dwayne, is because some of the apps had not yet debuted in South Carolina. So hopefully I'm answering your question with that. Craig, she is the director of security for me and for Red, who's also been
she's mine too.
Oh, she's your director of security as well? Okay.
Obviously, we all shop at the same place and we all have good taste. So,
yeah. Thanks, no, everything's much better. Found better jobs. Started in August and focusing on walking more and booze. I'm like, okay, Marion, that's good. How are you coming along with that, Marion? Might as well ask that question. Sometimes, it's just about everybody just talking among each other, and that's what the live streams be. Sometimes it's an opportunity for everybody to gather together and just get caught up on some things. It's not always a set format.
Marion's one of the longest people I've known the longest on YouTube. She was one of the very first people I met years ago.
Rig CH83. We actually spoke like you and I are talking, Steve. A few weeks back, he and we spoke. In fact, he was the reason for me doing a recent video. He made a suggestion. I did something on delivery orders and bills of ladings. So yeah. Well, from what it's funny that we mentioned about Easy Cater. Now, Easy Cater is the one that, from what I gathered, put the directive for the change of payout structure. That's the only thing I can think of, because because delivered orders are paying out similar to what Delivered That had suggested as well. So I'm an Emerald driver, but I don't see those. I do see them every now and then, but the last couple of times I've seen like $5,000 orders, it was with another driver, and it was an absolute disaster because the restaurant was not capable of handling the order.
But regardless, you're not Emerald. I mean, this is just me. Maybe there was a time, but you're
I'm
never
not
gonna.
Emerald.
I'm never gonna see him. You're never gonna see him. You're not Emerald, are you?
Yeah, I am. I just said that.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're Emerald on delivered.
yeah, yeah. Do I
Well,
need to
then I
show
have
you
no
the
idea
email?
why you're not seeing good orders other than market being slow. But man, I would, if I had that level status, I would be contacting them and saying, "What up?"
Dude, I put it like this, and I would put, I could tell some things. I could call delivered, and they knew who I was at one time.
Mhm.
They don't know me now. And I think part of it is because they got the exposure that they were looking for, and so they moved on to other people. And so I'm good, man. You know, they can do it. I don't need to call them. I'll pick
Mhm.
and choose the orders that I get, and I move on. Yeah.
And to be honest, that's what I do with delivered. And I got to tell you, I can say this, Geezer, like I see the craziest, most horrible offers, but then I'll wait and just keep saying no, no, no. I mean, I'm not afraid to say no, no, no way, but I'll see 20 miles and it's not even near me. It's like 15 miles from me to go pick up. And then it's a 20-mile trip in another direction, making a triangle, and
Mhm.
they're offering $20. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'll keep saying no to these horrible offers, but then I'll see $43 come through for 1.2 mile.
Mhm.
And I look and the subtotal's like 230, and I'm like, it's not far from me. I'll do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one I'll do. Marion says she's lost since 2023. She's lost about 80 pounds, and she's no longer pre-diabetic. So that's very good. Yes, I'm glad to hear that.
That's awesome. I've heard that from a few people lately that are like that were in danger of pre-diabetic or whatever, and they've been saying, "Dude, I'm good. I'm clear of it now."
Yeah. Now, speaking of which, I shared this in a video. I mean, and since we last talked, Steve, yeah, I had serious health scare back in December where I went in for a routine procedure, and they had me hooked up to the heart monitor and all that stuff, and they said, "Oh man, you're in atrial fluttering. We can't do anything." So that means the top ventricle, the electrical system to the top ventricle, was not in sync with the lower ventricle. So that was an issue. And then my blood pressure was out the roof, and I ended up going from there to the emergency room, and then spending um, 2 days over in intensive care just under observation. They got the atrial fluttering corrected with medication, and then I got I got two blood pressure pills, and so my blood pressure has been good, man. You know, I'm no longer. I got to see a cardiologist Friday, but yeah, but I'm
I
good.
mean,
I'm good.
at this point, and it's same thing's going to start happening for me. Nothing. That sounds like a pretty good visit. All in all, you never know. Like it could have gone way bad as we get older.
Well, someone said
So to
delivered.
me,
What
that's
is the
just a.
support? Yeah, you used to be able to call Pennsylvania. I don't know if you still can. But yeah, yeah. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, I'm doing good. My blood pressure now. I take consistent readings, and my pressure has been um in so anywhere between 125 and 132, the top number, and anywhere between 65 and 75 on the bottom number. So, and that's with the
Yeah.
medication. Now it was. It, I, I'll just leave it at that. I'll update y'all next week once I see the cardiologist on Friday. Let you know what else is going on there. But um, the old guy is still ticking. I'll leave it at that. The old guy's ticking.
Oh,
So,
he's taking good. Yeah.
huh?
You're
Hey,
taking
man,
good. You're not
um,
the old guy.
I am the old guy. Hey, look, they're talking about getting rid of fucking Social Security now, and I just became Social Security eligible. So, yeah. What else? What else is going on here? We got prayer. Thanks, Craig. Craig. But again, I'm doing good. I really am. The prayers were back in December 20 because what they were saying was that this could have gone any kind of way. because my blood pressure was out the roof. We're talking about potential stroke, heart embolism, or heart attack or death. It could have gone any of those directions. I think the only number that was good was my pulse rate because it was always in the mid 60s. Go figure.
No. I mean, you're right, but dude.
100 years. Most of those years are mine, man. Shit. Most of those years are mine. So
Cool,
I'll hey man, you know what? You know what I need to do? We need to play that parliament right now then. Just run them all off then. Run all these whippersnappers off. 100 years of gig experience, goats. But you know what? I remember, you know what? Since Nova wants to talk about us like that, I remember when Nova used to show hair.
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago.
And I say this a lot, and I never get into it with the audience at all. It's not my style, but I often say when I'm doing daytime stuff, just randoms might pop in and go, "What's up, Grandpa?" I'm like, dude, I will hike on a 14er with you. I will snowboard in the backcountry with you, and I will outdo you. I don't care if you're 30 years, 20 years younger than me. I will own you in the mountains. Like, come on out. I guess it's the only as old as you feel kind of thing,
Well, if it weren't for me having had hip replacement surgery in 2018, I would probably take you up on some of that stuff. But I gotta. In fact, part of the reason why I started doing like some of the gig work, like Amazon Flex, it was for a part of my rehab because I was getting in and out the car, doing a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff helped me to get back up to speed. Believe it or not, yes.
Nice.
So I was going to ask you, Steve. Then, what are some of the lessons that you've learned about the gig economy, the gig space since shutdowns? What are some of the things you've learned?
Since shutdowns. Well, I mean, just real quick, first, anybody that was working them before, I think you were already, if you had done it for even a couple of years, you were already getting a sense of like, wait, man, there's some weird stuff going on here. Shutdowns just made it all that much weirder, like food delivery booming and rideshare dying in one day when the CARES Act was signed, like overnight, gone, done. And then like I'd never done food delivery. So here I am onboarding to these, but I've been doing rideshare for years. And then, since it's been, I've liked the rise of a lot of apps. I still to this day stand by Curry. Yeah, I mean, I was saying some things like the offers being taken right now are not ones I love. I've even been at fault of taking a couple of those, but not in the thirsty way. I'm just saying that I've taken some. I feel like it's that time of year to kind of brush off the apps and just even do one. Just one on every app. Make sure you're still active even. If you're at all, you never know. You try and do one, you can't. But just do one, dust out, and then find out. Like, I'm never going to do that again. Okay, well, I didn't used to say this, but delete it, if you're sure. Like, just delete it. But you never know. I still run all the apps, but winters are always tough. I don't when people say summer slowdown, that's always thrown me a bit because I know markets that only thrive during the summer. Like they're like summer markets. They have 4 months a year to make all of their money in the summer. So it balances, but there's always a winter slowdown. I don't do enough food delivery on the norm. I do last mile. I've done rideshare. I do all these other apps, but I don't do, I've even done grocery, but food delivery, like a lot of people do Uber Eats and DoorDash. I'm doing more now than I have since Para was around years ago. And it's hard for me to tell if it's just the January, February slowness of the apps. But remember, I'm in Colorado and we have the transparency now. The transparency is I'm going to say is a godsend. I mean, I love it. We didn't ask for a dollar amount, and we got the two things that we asked for. We got the right to have a human review of a wrongful deactivation if you want to flag it as such. If you know what you did and there's no reason to get it, they'll catch you and you can be deactivated if you deserved it. But the other thing that we asked for was transparency for the driver and the rider. And the way this thing's structured is if those receipts don't match up at the end of every ride, and they can audit them at any time directly from Uber Eats, DoorDash, Uber. If they don't match up, it's $1,000 fine on each side plus 200 to the city. So if you can imagine a rideshare, but even a food delivery, an Uber Eats food delivery, a DoorDash food delivery, where the exact amounts being shown are not transparent and broke down everything on the receipt to driver and the passenger, and they get audited, it's $2,200 per instance.
Wow.
I mean, we can all do the math. Like, you're thinking, when you hear those numbers, you're like, that's nothing to these companies. It is when we're talking about a $30 order of food that's going to cost them $2,200.
Right. That's a big loss.
So it's completely transparent. It's very weird when, like, DoorDash, when it comes up, it says the full amount, and it has the what portion of that was a tip. So now you see it, and it has to show it too. It can't say, this base pay and this is tip. Like, I've seen crazy ones that are like 14. It says $0 tip, 14 base pay to go a tenth of a mile out of my zone. Now I'm seeing all these crazy things about how money is wasted by this company. I mean, like, in stupid ways. Like, I don't even understand, why am I being paid 14 to deliver 10 hot wings to somebody out of the zone who can't tip? Like, to me, that's just weird. I mean, like, keep it at 2, because clearly you're stealing. What is that thing? Stealing from Paul to pay Robin, or whatever.
Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, or stealing from
Yeah,
Peter
it's something. It feels like that. It's like, what are you doing here? I mean, because I know you're taking that 14 out against the other drivers. So I'm kind of just getting back into it after like, all you guys have, like, taken your breaks, but you've had, like, sadiness with these apps. I'm fully back in for 10-ish hours a week on just that stuff. And I haven't been back in a while, and it's crazy. And now with the transparency, even on Uber, they can put it, and it has to say the tip too. But if the tip gets removed, you shouldn't have to, but right now they're still on the stage. You just call and you just say that, yep, the tip was changed or removed. I have the screenshot, put it back on, and they put it back on immediately. But I haven't been tip baited either. Every single one, tips can't be added and they can't be removed. So when you accept the offer, that is a contract.
Right.
And to me, that's awesome.
That's in theory what it's supposed to be anyway. Now, speaking of tip baiting and all, Cray Cray is in here, but her partner, Red, who's been on the conversation as well. Red had been on a little crusade about F.U. Felicia, I think that was her name, whereby she'd been tip baited. And what I did was, with one of her videos, I showed where someone had tip baited me, and I actually, when I saw her again, I told her, find yourself another sucker. Just what I did. So that was a few years ago. Depends on the market. You're right. You're right there.
Always depends on the market.
That leads to something else. Now, gig economy money. Can you live without it, Steve? And I'm gonna chime in on this as well.
Yes, but I do production work, and it is picking back up, but other than taking it full time, again, at a time when my son's going to school. So right now I'm kind of locked here, but like, if my son was starting school tomorrow and all that was happening tomorrow, and you were asking me this, and he was off to college, yes, I could. It might involve me having to work a couple nights at a bar, which I've done for 20 plus years bartending. But I wouldn't have to be a manager. I wouldn't have to be an owner. I would just have to bartend a couple good shifts at a couple bars. 2, maybe, 1 night each, 2 bars. I can think of a few I would do it at, but
so that means, like,
I don't want to go back to that. That's a lifestyle. And I don't want to go back to getting home at 3, 4 a.m. But that would make up that difference. Also, there probably now is enough production work for me, but I've been out of production full time since the pandemic. I mean, on March 29th of the CARES Act in 2020 was passed. Every gig that the laser company that I contract out for, that's the primary one, every gig we had on the calendar going to New Year's, and we were fully booked. And then a little beyond, everyone was canceled within 48 hours of the CARES Act.
Ooh.
For like 11 months. And this is a company that we do every Carnival Cruise Line. We do all the Disney, Walt Disney World and Disneyland. We do all the Toyota corporate and a bunch of, like, we do sporting events and just a lot of big stuff. But if you're hearing the things I'm mentioning, cruise ships, pandemic, Walt Disney World, pandemic, convention. I mean, like, these just weren't happening. Everybody,
everything was shut down.
Yeah.
Well, I've shared this before, but gig economy was a game changer for me. And I it sounds like I've been one of the better success stories of it. You know, the longevity of the gig economy, though. But I'll give you an example. I have, on many occasions, I've earned anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 in a span of 3 days. There was a time on W-2s, it would take me an entire month or going into a second month to make the same money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And at my stage in life, I'm not inclined to work for somebody because I'm likely to tell them something that they don't want to hear, which would mean me looking for another gig, another job, another W-2. So from that standpoint, I can't live without the gig economy money because it is what I do. Of course, I'm an insurance agent, but I don't feel like going out there trying to beat the payments and find that business anymore, especially with how insurance rates are. I mean, it's hard to keep customers when you're an independent agent these days. It's really hard.
Oh yeah. And to be honest, like, to finish up on that, like I said, I could I? Yes. That life that I said, though, even if it might sound good to a lot of you, like, do some production and then bartend twice a week, that changes my whole life of what I do. I get up at 5 a.m. right now to do curry and other things. This would involve me going to bed at 5. I mean, this is going back to something you do when you're younger. And I'm not old, but something you do. So for me, do I need the gig economy? Yeah. Especially if I want to just kind of keep my hand in production, because the other thing about production is, man, I hate that I keep sounding old here. I'm not old, but like tour.
I'm older than him by a good bit. So
a full tour or something that I've done before sounds like a real trek. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody were to be like, hey, you wanted to go do 37 cities over 45 days. Wow. Sounds like a real, because those are long production hours too. I mean, I don't mind hard work at all, but that's a big commitment. And right now the gig economy isn't in its finest shape, but I do believe that months will get better. I believe other gigs will come around. I believe things will get straightened out a bit. I don't think everything's going to be all roses anymore, but I think that if you're a multi-apper and you're willing to hustle, I think there's the money here. And for me, that was always the biggest thing since 2015, is if I went and did production with my son and I went for a month or this or that, and then I would come back and spend time with him, I didn't just want to be off the whole month. I'd do rideshare every day because I knew I had another month before the next gig. So,
all right, Rig CH says some states have decent legislation that don't allow Uber to take advantage of their contractors, but some, like where he is, they don't care. Yeah, that's true. You got those. He mentioned that he drove Uber for 5 years and he knew of several six-figure drivers. There was a time, yes. I mean, Mike Drop Barbecue probably is six-figure. He's never mentioned it though, but I would venture to say that he definitely has the capacity of being six figures if he's not six figures. And you know, I recall back in the golden era how people, at least here in South Carolina, would talk about going to Charleston for the weekend, leave on Friday, come back Sunday, and would have at least $1,000 in their pockets.
I mean, one time. Again, you guys can say anything you want about it because he is in Hawaii. but Boots has made over 110,000 for the last 3 years on Honolulu.
Oh yeah, the DoorDash guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I met Mr. Flex in 2021 because of Para, he was using Para all the time. Mr. Flex cleared 100 grand just on DoorDash.
He was on that damn app a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of orders. Instead of gig apps, why didn't I decide to get dispatchers when I first started? Dwayne, the reason why I never dealt with this, I tried a dispatcher, and here's what happened on my very first brokered opportunity. I booked it. I happened to see one that come out, and it was going to San Antonio, and I booked it. When she found out that I posted that a screenshot of a DoorDash out of Houston, she hit the roof and calls, and we spoke about it. I offered to give her her cut, and she says, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." So that's as far as it went for me with a dispatcher experience. Dispatcher ain't done shit for me, so that's why I do my own.
And I was going to say too, timing might play an issue on that too, because as you and I have talked about, like those load boards and stuff, even 18-wheeler truckers that are owner operated, they're not even moving their trucks because it's not worth it.
Well,
like the offers on those load boards aren't worth them turning their trucks over.
That is true. And some guys are sitting. Rideshare Rick, he's from Ontario, California. I remember that now.
Yep. I met Rick in person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my next door neighbor who has his own semi. He's hooked up with he is driving under a carrier. He's contracted under a carrier, so he's got consistent work. But he would like to get away from there and do his own again. But I guess the way things are out there right now, he's going with the consistent work. So
it just blows my mind how some of these people who are really into logistics, I don't understand how, and I hate to say this, but how they almost just can't suck up every open opportunity and just say we'll cover it and just get more trucks on the fleet, because there's some big fleets out there. They could just keep expanding as long as they could grab the customers.
Well, you know what? I don't know. What I probably know is at the very tip of the iceberg about transport and logistics and all. But for what I know, I've tried to do as best as I can with it, and I'll leave it at that. I do, since we talked about transparency and all this stuff. I'm gonna bring in the other stuff. I'm not gonna call it the heavy hitter stuff, but the stuff that you've talked about. And what it is that one of the things is DoorDash agreeing to $16.75 million for subsidizing tips for actual driver pay. And this is between 2017 and 2019. It seems to me that 2017 to 2019 was the golden age of thievery among these apps. And what I mean by that is it wasn't just DoorDash. Instacart and Amazon Flex were also having to pay multi-million-dollar settlements for subsidizing driver pay with the customer tips.
What I will say is you're right on the Instacart thing. They had, for some reason, I remember this was 2016 to 2018. All the states that were filing lawsuits, their time period was that. Right now, California got caught, or DoorDash got caught in California, and it's actually specifically, I've been saying this on videos. If you need to, Steve at ridesharerodeo.com, email me. I'll help you get in touch with state senators. I'd love to meet yours before you guys pass some horrible legislation. But DoorDash in California was the first one to go, wait a minute, from May of 2017 to September of 2019, drivers' tips were being stolen. They sued them. They got the full amount that they were going to sue them for without any negotiating. No, there's always negotiating with these companies, always. But they just paid it. The Illinois sued them about a month and a half ago for, I think it was $37 million.
Looking at
And
11,
same time
11.25. Yeah.
same time period, and they got paid. Just kind of, hey, we don't even want to go to court. Here you go. Here's your check. New York, same thing. Same, and this is always the same date, you guys. New York, 16 point something
7.5. Yeah.
75. Yeah, it was called 17, but it's 16.75 or whatever it is. In New York, same thing. Guess what? DoorDash has made statements that they have since corrected the nationwide software issue. So if DoorDash was in your state from May of 2017 to September of 2019, they stole your driver's tips. Fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tipping other lawmakers off. I mean, I'm literally tipping some people off who are like, wait a minute, this can't be right. I'm like, it's right. And I'm sending them stuff. And every state should be suing DoorDash for tens of millions of dollars right now.
Well, it just seems like it's not just DoorDash. Like I said, it was also Instacart and Amazon Flex. In fact, I was going to play. I had this queued up, Steve, just for the hell of it, though. Not that so much. I was just let's see here. Let's see if I can pull it up though. But I did a video on Amazon Flex in which they paid 61.5 million to drivers. I got a check for $226 in November 2021 from that same period, from that same time period. And I wasn't on, and I was just, well, yeah, I was active on Amazon Flex during that, at the tail end of the period in which they were stealing driver tips. Yeah. It just seems like.
So they all do it. But here's the thing is that DoorDash's was much different. I don't know if you're from. So what they were doing, I don't know if you know, they even during those dates, they were running a promotion that said, make sure to tip your dashers, make sure to tip your dashers. It's almost like they were on our side, right? They were like literally going to bat for us. But what they were doing was showing you, remember, this is why Para existed. Remember, they'd show you the base pay and then they'd show you a tip, but it could always be more in those younger years. Okay, so what they were doing was if the person tipped more than the total you saw, so like let's say that they said base pay 2 for sake of argument, tip 3 and you saw 5 and you knew it might be more. Now it ends up being $7.50. Now the tip from the person was $7.50. They were taking the whole $7.50 and giving it to you based on the receipt that said $2, $3 plus additional tip, and then they were removing their base pay portion and not paying it.
That's exactly what Amazon did with Amazon Flex. Same thing. In fact, that
just blows my mind on every level. I mean, I know you can say every Fortune 500 company is thieves and criminals, but I mean, on some level, I'm sure it's true, but I mean, like this is getting out of hand. Like you literally, like you're under an FBI or you're under a complete RICO investigation right now. And I just did an article the other day about this guy who was all you need to set up a DoorDash restaurant is a name, an address, and an EIN number. And it's been that way for years. But that's all you could set it up tonight. And this guy was selling Costco muffins for $6, $5, and $4. He had all the different muffins. And then he posted on TikTok and he had one go viral and he got caught. And the weirdest thing is some of the comments from the community were like, dude, we're doing that too. Shut up. Don't make videos about it. Like it was like there was a community of people going, man, none of us have real restaurants. Shut up. Like there's no DoorDash is literally again using that independent contractor card. You're an independent contractor. Great. But that means that you need to know everything you need to have. So if you give them a EIN number, which is just literally, you can form it, I think in every state, I'll be safe. For under $200 in any state in this country, you can form an LLC.
Right.
So if all you need is an LLC, an address, and a name, I mean, and an LLC protects you. You just go, I don't know. But like if you want to open a restaurant, even if you want to open a food truck, you're going to be under multiple inspections and
Oh
permits.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you
You
can't just
get
be
shut
selling
down.
food.
Yeah, you get shut down real fast with a food truck, real fast.
But this is happening on DoorDash right now. Like this was a guy who was just caught the other day. I knew of this from years ago, but I really wasn't aware it was still happening at such a degree. Like, because
Well,
my
it
example
was
was so I can just say that my neighbor's house, first of all, there's a nice bush path.
yes.
So
Mhm.
whenever people show up, I just go through the bushes and I pretend like I'm doing it from her house. My neighbor's
And,
house is called
and
Steve's Kitchens, and I just rebox
and
Costco muffins.
and that's what some people. Well, I don't know if they're using muffins though, but that's what some people were doing during the so-called during the shutdowns. They had
Yeah.
those
There were people in DC
operations.
doing Tortino's pizzas late at night and the little 99-cent pizzas. Yeah. See, ghost kitchens are sketchy because they can be what I'm saying, or they can be very, very clean professional places as well.
Yeah, they. In fact, the ghost kitchens were actually some of your brick and mortar places that would have a different name.
Yeah.
That's actually the ghost kitchen, different name.
I mean, look at like Denny's has got like 4.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got the grilled cheese or the big cheese or whatever it is, and then the worst pizza on earth is, I think we all can agree, because if you've had kids, you've been there, Chuck E. Cheese. And if you want to order Chuck E. Cheese, they call it Pasquini's or something.
Yeah.
Like that's just Chuck E. Cheese cardboard pizza, guys.
Well,
but it's different. But it's different to think. I mean, that still doesn't seem right. But they have a kitchen that has. You have your inspections. You have you're operating properly. I don't know about that sketchiness part, but for me to just go buy Costco muffins and sell them out my front door and rebox them, like, I don't know. I feel like DoorDash, and I know they can say he's an independent contractor, he should know all the rules, but I feel like they should be way more responsible and require all of your permits and everything.
All right, Dwayne asking me about inspections. All right, Dwayne, I've done this one before. In fact, I had a video about early last year on our van subject to safety inspections. And this is the way it was explained to me by FMCSA or South Carolina DOT, who was actually the same person. Vehicles whose gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, of 10,001 pounds or more, they may be subject to the safety audit and the inspections. Most Sprinter vans or cargo vans are typically 10,000 pounds and under. You're not considered by definition then a commercial vehicle. You're only considered a commercial vehicle based on really insurance company standards. So you should not have to worry about inspections by and large. Although you may encounter a broker from time to time who will try to hold that against you, saying, "Well, we don't see in your file an inspection." Well, you probably don't need to deal with that broker anyway. In fact, I had someone tell me about I needed to have shown having the electronic logging device, the clock, which is typically used for your big box trucks and the people drive the big rigs and all, because you have to have shifts of 14 hours and then 10 hours, 14 hours on within the 24-hour period and 10 hours off. That's what the electronic logging device. Saying that I need to have that with a van. I'm like, dude, we're not required. Well, yeah, you're right, legally speaking, but we require that. So it may be in that end, case by case basis with the broker, but by and large at FMCSA, you don't have to worry about that. Hopefully, I've answered your question.
Wait, so Sprinter vans are just under 10,000 pounds for that reason?
I don't know. The gross vehicle weight of a Sprinter van is typically, empty, like less than 5,000 pounds or something like that. So it's what you have in your van,
right?
And typically, you're going to carry at the most like 3,000 pounds,
right? Yeah,
3,500. I've
two
heard some people
super stacked pallets.
Pretty much. Yeah. But by and large, you're going to be under 10,000 pounds in a Sprinter van. Now, unless maybe you use a dually There are vans out there that's got the dual rear wheels. That may be a different weight classification, but I don't, I've not ever even touched physically a dually wheel sprinter van, so I don't know about the gross vehicle weight rating on those. Okay. Well, Steve, hey man, I'm good. We're gonna wind this thing up.
Alright.
I'm gonna instead of doing what we usually do, we'll play a Parliament video. What I'm gonna do is put back on what we started out with, and kind of wind things down. Next week, y'all, I'm scheduled to have driving with Ty. He's out of the Washington D.C. area. He kind of famously uses a mom van, what I call, out there. Can y'all hear that?
Mhm.
We funk. That's right. Anyway, but he's scheduled to be on next week. Steve, thanks for bailing me out, starting out those first 30 minutes. Thanks for agreeing to come on. By the way, y'all, I didn't even mention it. Steve was my very first guest when I started I'm Speaking back in November. So he is the first two-time visitor, the first-time conversationist. Oh, no, you do this. Yeah, do that there, since you're out west. So, y'all, we're going to go out on some P-Funk here. Hopefully, y'all like the damn conversation. Let's see what we got here. Always great. Thanks, Marion. Thanks for joining the conversation there, Marion. And y'all, as I often say, may your grind and may your hustle continue.